You?
I'm doing good. I can't complain. I can't complain. I appreciate you taking the time with me today. I know everybody's busy, a lot of stuff going on. So thank you very much. It's been a long time since I've seen you in person.
Yes.
So, but you're looking good. You're looking good.
Well, thank you.
So, but I was talking, as you know, a little background. I don't know if Natalie told you, but I did a little research about Rosenwald schools.
Yes.
When I graduated from this other degree back in December 2019. And I forgot, or not forgot, but remember that Prentiss Institute had a Rosenwald building on its campus. And I came across some back information through Fisk University. And so I decided to say, well, Nat told me that you had graduated from Prentiss Institute, and I wasn't sure if Daddy had as well, but going through some of his papers, I did find out that he did. So,
yes, he did.
And so
also, your aunt Gladys.
Gladys, okay, yeah, and so I want to talk to you, take a little time with you today to talk about your experience there. There at Prentiss Institute, if you have any recollections of that particular building prior to it being refurbished a couple of years ago, specifically, and again, just some of your recollections of your time at Prentiss Institute and what it meant to you and your families. And so, just a little background from the questions there. You know, what year were you born? Where were you born? And talk a little bit about your parents. My Uncle Frank and Aunt Jessie, great
yes.
uncle and great aunt.
Yes.
And that I have a lot of fond memories of. So you can give me a little background about how you guys grew up, your sister and brothers, and things like that there in at Sophia Sutton, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I was born on August 11, 1939 in Prentiss, Mississippi.
Okay.
I was born, delivered by midwives. The midwife was named Miss Sally Buck. At that time, we didn't have hospitals, so we had midwives.
Okay.
And she lived in Spring Hill, on the grounds of Spring Hill in that area.
Okay.
And I was born at home at the family homestead, which we still own today. The location is in the north section of rural Jefferson Davis County, near the town of New Haven and Silver Creek.
Okay.
The address of our home at that time was Route 3, Box 234, Prentiss, Mississippi. The address has been updated since that time, and the location remains the same, but the address is 73 Mission Lane. My parents was Frank and Jessie Armstrong. I had 4 siblings that was born to that family, that was born to my parents. I was the first of 4. My childhood growing up was very interesting. I must say I had a peaceful childhood. When we were growing up, we had different tasks that we had to do. I was assigned to the cooking task. I always cooked. we at that time we would make biscuits in the morning times, and my Grover, he could eat so many biscuits. and we had rice and salmon, and they would kill hogs, and we had country ham and stuff for breakfast. We had plenty of food.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Now, Uncle Frank, he was a farmer, right? What did he do? Was he just strictly farmer, like his brother, my papa was, or did he do anything else outside of that?
No, my father, Frank, he didn't do much farming.
Okay.
Like your granddaddy did, because he worked on the pipe out of town. He did a little farming, but not very much. Okay. And we would help your papa with his farming, okay, and go over there and pick cotton and do stuff like that. But my father did not do very much farming like your grandfather did.
Now you said pick cotton. Where was this?
It was at your grandfather's farm, the Wilts farm.
Wilts, okay.
Your grandmother was a Wilts before she married into the Armstrong family.
Right.
And my mother and your grandmother, that was her aunt, and they married brothers.
Right. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Uh-huh. And my brothers, during the years as growing up, my daddy raised cows and hogs, and he had Agnes cows.
Okay.
Black Agnes.
Black Agnes.
And he would sell them to the market and take care of those. But that was he didn't do a whole lot of farming.
Okay.
And my brothers would milk the cows in the morning time, and that we would have milk and stuff. I never have been a milk person. I don't know. I just didn't care for milk too much.
Yeah. Yeah. Now your sister, you said you were the oldest of your siblings. Your sister, yes. Harvest Jean, how much younger?
Harvest Jean, and she was always called sister. Okay. We always called her sister, but her given name was Harvest Jean.
And how much younger was she than you? How much younger was she than you?
4 years.
4 years, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I'm 81 now, and I believe she's 77.
Okay, all right.
Mm-hmm. I was the oldest, and then my sister, and then my brother grew up, and Frank Shelton was the youngest.
Yeah. And
he was quite a few years behind us. So, and growing up, I was old enough to help take care of him as he grew up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And when I was on my early education, I went to school at Galilee. There was a little red schoolhouse over at Galilee. And I don't know if you know where the fellowship hall is now at Galilee.
Yeah.
That's where the little red schoolhouse was. And we lived on where is that? Yeah, we lived on the other side of the town. And during my early education, I attended that school. I stayed with my Uncle Garfield and Aunt Winnie during the week. Uh-huh. And I would have to walk from my side of the town over to Galilee every Monday morning. And then after school was out, I would go live with my aunt and Uncle Garfield named Winnie. Yeah. And on Friday night, we would go back home.
Yeah. That wasn't, I mean, close, and I could say close driving, but as far as a walk, that wasn't That wasn't too close as far as walking.
No, it was about 5 miles. It was 5 miles.
Yeah.
And it was a path through the woods we had to walk, and it was cold. And I would be crying when it was cold. When I got to school, I would be just crying.
Yeah. See, like I can remember when they built that fellowship hall. I may can't, but I did not know a school was there in that spot.
Yeah, it was in that area there somewhere, the red schoolhouse. All over the country, we had new red schoolhouses for people like us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People like what? The Black people?
For the Black people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And who taught there in those schoolhouses?
I had one teacher that was named Miss Lumsey. Her father was a pastor of Spring Hill Baptist Church.
Yeah, I remember Reverend. Is she getting the Reverend Lumsey?
Reverend Lumsey, that was her father.
Oh, okay.
I think that there's was a younger Reverend Lumsey that came along after my days.
Yeah, I remember him. Yeah, I remember the younger one. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And after I graduated from elementary school, I attended school at Oakley Elementary School, located on Highway 42.
Oh, okay. Oakley.
And I played basketball. I participated in school plays in every class. I was in every class play because I had an aunt that taught there.
Yeah.
That was my mother's father's sister.
Okay.
And she taught there, and I was just really outgoing because I had at one time during the holidays at Christmas time I would play Santa Claus.
Black Santa Claus, that's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Oakley, I don't think I've ever heard of Oakley. I don't.
Yeah, it was OAK Oakley Elementary School. It was on Highway 42, out there by near where I don't know anything that was near there. Did you ever hear about Uncle Homer?
Yes.
Uncle Homer lived down the street from there. He was the first Black person that bought land on Highway 42 out there.
Oh,
he
wow.
had 9 children.
Wow.
And he had a farm out there. His wife was named Lueda. And she died. She passed away. And eventually, I don't know what happened to how he sold the land or he lost the land. I don't know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But he moved away and he moved to another, somewhere else.
I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. Okay. So the Uncle Frank and Aunt Jessie, how did they feel about education? Did they stress it as it being important to you guys, to them? Because I know the rest of your sisters and brothers eventually moved to Chicago. Right?
Yeah.
That was on down the road. But
my sister, during the time when she went to high school, she went to Pineywood.
Okay.
That was how many miles? That was
36 miles.
That was 36 miles from Prentiss. And they did stress education, very much so.
Yeah, and I remember the little bit I remember about Pineywood. It was more like a sort of like an industrial institute where they taught maybe agricultural skills or a certain type of more the homemaking skills or stuff like that.
Yes, it was. It also was a boarding school.
Boarding school, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I believe that was on. I can't remember exactly where it was. Was that on? It went on Highway 13. I can't remember.
Well, how Pinewood was.
It's in Rankin County.
Rankin County?
Yeah, it's in Rankin County, and it's an unincorporated part of Rankin County.
Okay.
So not long after you get on 13, after 1349,
Yeah.
you're right there at it.
Yeah, I remember it's on the right-hand side there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So why didn't they go to? Was Prentiss Institute open then when they were?
Yes, because she was behind me.
Okay.
It was open, but she chose to go to the boarding school rather than go to Prentiss Institute.
Okay.
She had several friends that went to that school, so they all decided that's where they were going.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you go to Oakley. I guess there was your early education was at the Little Red School there on Galilee. That Baptist Church campus. Then you go to Oakley. I guess would be designated as junior high, and then
Yes.
At what age and what year did you start at Prentiss Institute?
I don't know. I graduated when I was 17.
You said ninth grade.
Ninth grade. He asked me what age was.
Yeah.
I started in the ninth grade.
Okay.
And I graduated when I was 17.
Okay.
I might have been 18 August, 17 or 18. But I graduated in 1957.
Okay.
And I remember riding the school bus to Prentiss Institute. And I met students from all four corners of the state. And if I remember correctly, Uncle Garfield drove the school bus.
Okay.
And I had the teachers there they were very professional. Professor Armstrong was one of my teachers. He taught history. And Mr. Frisbee was one of my teachers, and he taught math. And he was a foreigner, and I had problems understanding his language.
Wow.
So therefore, I had to take that class the second time.
Wow, they had foreign teachers.
Mr. Frisbee was, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
And Miss Garbo was my home ec teacher. She was one of the teachers that lived downtown in Prentiss, one of the Black people that owned the house downtown. It was on the road, on the back of the town where you go over to Prentiss Institute.
Yeah.
And she raised a young lady named, I forgot her name. But anyway, we all was good friends. We made friends.
Yeah.
And I had Professor Richmond. You probably remember Professor Richmond, don't you? Because he had a lot to do with Sofa Sudden.
Okay. Was that S.L. Richmond?
Yes. Okay. Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
that was his name, S.L. Richmond.
Yeah, his grandson, I know now that knows his grandson, Cedric Richmond, is now working for, he's a congressman out of Louisiana.
Yeah, Nana told me that.
Yeah, he's working on President Biden's transition team. So, yeah. And my wife, family is from South Pleasant Hill, that area over there. And Mr. Richmond.
Is that right?
And S.L. Richmond was going to church out there. So my wife knows all of them. So, I know that name. I don't know him, but I know that name. Yeah.
Uh-huh. He was an agriculture teacher. And Mr. Bill Crosby was the school photographer. he had all kinds of pictures. If they could find those pictures today, I mean, he made pictures all the time. He had his own office and everything,
Oh, wow.
his own building where he did all the pictures for all the football teams and everything. And
Yeah.
I was a cheerleader for the football team.
Well, you were right when you said you were outgoing. You-
Yeah, I was quite outgoing. And Miss Rosalie Hooker, known as Doll Hooker, and so many others were played a big part in Princeton's. I think she taught. She worked in the office,
Okay.
and the office was under the in the what you call it,
Basement.
in the basement. That's where the typing classes were.
Okay.
So I had during my high school, I got introduced to typing and everything. So when I went to college, I had to do. I had a lot of experience from being around the students at Prentiss Institute that was junior college.
Yeah.
And the Rosenwald building, I remember Julius Rosenwald building, the main classrooms where we had devotion in the morning times.
Okay. Now describe, like I said, I know that building, of course, it was built well before you were born and it's been refurbished since. What was it like in there before, when you guys was there, compared to, of course, like the little red school building that you had on Galilee, you know, so what was the Rosenwald building like? Was it good shape? Did it have everything that accommodation for the students and everything?
Yeah, it did. And it had a big heater in one corner of the room, a big heater that hung from the ceiling, and that heated the whole building.
Okay.
And we all would meet there every morning to have our devotion before we went into our respective classrooms.
Yeah. And compared to the little red schoolhouse, I imagine it was a huge, huge improvement.
And very much so. Very much so. And as far as the financial obligations, my family didn't have any financial obligations. And as far as the other students, I was not aware that they had financial obligations if they had any.
Okay. And how do you think, I know you probably spent a lot of time thinking about this back then or even now, but as far as the white students there in Jefferson Davis County, what school were they going to? Junior high, high school? Do y'all have any action with them as far as school was concerned?
No. As far as I can remember, they had a school downtown. Mm-hmm.
I don't remember.
Prentiss High School. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So on Prentiss Institute campus, there were several buildings. Now, was that a boarding school as well, or was it people came in and out on a daily basis?
No, it also was a boarding school. The students that was college students, they lived on campus.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it was a full-fledged school. You had sports, you had everything that a regular school
Yes.
would have. So,
Yes.
mm-hmm. Did y'all have to do any chores around there? Did y'all build anything? Were there certain type of classes where in the vein of like Tuskegee, where the students built buildings, they farmed, they grow their food?
No, as far as I can remember, we didn't do anything like that.
Okay. And Do you recall any the community involvement, whether it was churches, other groups that uh, helped facilitate or take care of the school grounds, buildings, or anything, or was that all done through the staff there at Prentiss?
It was done through the staff as far as I can remember. And the teachers, all at that time, all our teachers were black teachers
Okay.
because we we were before the integration.
Right.
Most teachers, and being a student at Prentiss Institute from through 12th grade, I was exposed to college level students.
Okay.
Most teachers today, especially the white teachers, they're there for the money, and some of our teachers are just there for the money.
Right.
Having all black teachers in that time played a big role in life because they knew where you come from, and they knew all about you, so it helped some in the education. They wanted you to get a good education, so you'd be able to go out into the world and do the things that other people were doing.
Yeah, I read something in another book. It was another student who had attended Rosenwald School with all black teachers. I think it was in Arkansas, I want to say. And they quoted that the teachers and administration all seemed like your parents, your grandparents, your aunts and uncles.
Yes.
It was like a family oriented place.
Right.
So, and you mentioned, just mentioned that you think the education was on par with any other education that the white students were getting, or was it better in your estimation?
I don't know. I'll have to think about that.
Okay.
I don't think maybe it was. We weren't getting the teaching that they were getting. We were getting because first of all, we didn't have the same books that they had.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You want something to drink, Mom?
No.
Your voice is getting.
Okay, bring me some. But I can say, if it in the end, after graduating from Prentiss Institute, in the end, if it had not been for God and my parents, I definitely would not be where I am today, with a college degree in business and a husband with a degree in electronics. Also, I have 3 children, one with a BS degree from Howard University in Washington, D.C., and a master's degree from Columbia University in New York. Another with a certificate in special welding, and the third with a BS and a master's from Nashville University. And she's now writing her dissertation for a doctorate in education from Tribeca University. P&I has played a leading role in my family life.
Yeah. So that's something that, we really need to thank God you were able to pass that down to your kids,
Yes.
Because I think a lot of that has been lost in regards to education and getting it from people who really cared about us in the community. And so
Right.
that instilled in you the vision to make sure that your kids were educated. Even though, it wasn't in Mississippi, but I can get back on my own education and say a lot was left to be desired. The education that we got, even though when I started school in Lawrence County, starting at Sophia Sutton, I can remember those days. going down there to Head Start. And me and my wife talk about
Yes.
that all the time. You know, I can still remember those days getting on the little school bus either from Daddy's house or walking down there when I was real little, and just having the smells of the breakfast in the morning, getting a hot breakfast, doing different activities down there, and then
Yes.
when it was up really running, you know, having all sorts of church activities down there. We don't, you know, have a lot of that anymore. And so I think we lost a lot of that with integration and things like that. But I'd like to hear you guys' experience and history on that.
Yes.
You know, so did it affect you? Where did you go to college? Where did you graduate from college from?
I went to business school and I went to college at TSU.
Okay. Tennessee State
At
University.
that time, it was A&I.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you continued on through the HBCU process, you know, being educated by our own folks. So that's something that I wish I would have done back when I graduated high school, but it's better late than never. But I just really appreciate what you guys went through and what y'all did. And I know it wasn't easy. And growing up in the rural South and having to walk here just to get an education. Try to not only better for yourself, but for your next generation. So that's to be admired in my estimation, what you guys went through. And so, if you want to elaborate more on how do you think it made you where you are today, you know, that experience growing up in that type of environment.
Well, they it was quite an experience that these days the generation coming up nowadays don't have the experience that we had in those days.
So do you think it would be the education today is not as good as what y'all got? Because when I think of education, I think of the whole process. Not only the academic part, but the teachers, the principals, you know, things like that. Because like I can remember, like I said, coming up in the 70s and 80s, I remember I had all Black teachers at my elementary school, and this was in the late 70s. And I was talking to somebody, and they put out the question, when was the first time you had a Black teacher? And a lot of people surprisingly said, when I got to college. I was like, wow, that's profound, because like I said, even when I was a kid, I can remember I had all Black teachers. We had a Black principal. Administrators were Black. You may have one white teacher sprinkle in here and there when I got to junior high into high school, but before then, they were all Black. And so I kind of felt a comfortability being in that environment. So I can't imagine what you guys went through during that time. Was Mr. and Mrs. Johnson alive when you were going to Prentiss Institute?
Mrs. Johnson were alive.
Okay.
And their son, A.L. Johnson, and he had a son named Al Weathers, and Bill Crosby had a son named Rodney, and he went to school at Fisk University. Last I heard of him. Okay. And Al Weathers and Rodney was friends. They was close in age and everything.
And for those who will see this later, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson were the founders of Prentiss Institute. I think initially started back in 1907, if I'm
Right.
thinking correctly. And so they were, just imagine during that time, starting a school for all blacks.
Yes.
Jefferson Davis County of all places, but they left a huge legacy. And, I think my wife went to, I think that junior high was named after Mr. Johnson until they consolidated
Yes.
Jefferson Davis County back a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But they left a great legacy.
Yes, they did.
Hopefully can, with the Prentiss Institute and the things they're trying to revive, I hope is people can support that.
I do too. I really do.
Yeah.
Because I would like to see it come alive again.
Yeah, I saw you on the video. I said,
that video didn't do me justice because I did not know that I was going to have to say something that day.
yeah,
The people that they interviewed had been told what they had been given the questions the night before, or the day before. And I just went with my daughter there, Natalie, to support her. And then they, 30 minutes before it was over, they asked me would I do an interview. Could they interview me?
yeah.
It was quite shocking, I was quite surprised.
Yeah. But I thought you did well. I thought it was good. The snippet that I saw, it was just speaking from the, extemporaneously from the heart. So sometimes that's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully they can get that going and, so people can understand the importance of that school.
Yes.
Also that school. So, but if there's anything you want to add, I don't want to take up too much of your time.
No, I think I've just about said everything that I, had to say.
Now that picture behind you, I'm trying to figure out what
we had a place, we had a farmer's market here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we got our vegetables, and it was an outside farmer market located in North Nashville. And we would go there and get our vegetables, and they had a pharmacy in there and everything.
Oh, wow.
And this young man, they had a place outside where people would just sit around out there. So someone did this picture, painted this picture of the people sitting out there. So it's actually a picture that was, that was painted doing live.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, very nice. Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
So how's Mr. John? Is he doing okay?
He's doing just great, doing fine. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. So we got to, this bit of topic, we got to have another family reunion sometime. After this pandemic.
I know we need to start working on that. We really do. Mm-hmm.
Sure do. But like I said, thank you very much for taking the time. I definitely let you guys know what becomes of this video, and it definitely be something that people are interested in.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's good to see you again.
All right.
You're looking good.
You looking just like your daddy.
Yeah, he would have been. Okay.
And
He's been 83. Let's see, his birthday was in January this month. So, 4, 5. He's been 80. He's born in 37.
Let's see, please, nah, pretty much.
Mm.
He'd have been 83, you're right. Because his sister Gladys and I were the same age. She was born in April,
Yeah,
and I was born in August.
yeah.
So we were very close. We were like sisters almost. Yeah, we were very close.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I know Daddy and Aunt Gladys are real close, so.
Yeah. Well, back in the day, when I used to call Gladys my number one cousin. She was my number one cousin.
A lot of y'all. Uncle Homer's children, and there are a lot of. I met. Of course, I knew Uncle Frank and Uncle Homer. I was real young, but their other sisters and brothers, I really don't know.
Yeah.
They moved away or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's why we need to have with another family union sometime, to just get to know people.
Were you at the family reunion that we had that time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, it sure was. Yeah, so I think that was in 2009, I think.
Yeah, it was.
2009.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All righty, man. Well, thank you so much.
All right. You have a nice rest of the day.
You too. Thank you, Natalie.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
All right, y'all. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay.